Hi everyone, welcome to the Practical Gardener. In today's video, we are going to talk about these never plants. They belong to the genus Ctenanthe under the family of Marantaceae. So these plants, which are in the same family as your Calatheas, Stromanthes, or they're also called prayer plants. So now this one in particular, this one is called Ctenanthe burle-marxii or burle-marxii. Now this one here is the hybrid of this itself. So it's called the Ctenanthe burle-marxii Amagris. So this one is actually a variant that was grown in the lab in Belgium. So this is more of a hybrid variety of this naturally occurring burle-marxii. Okay, and the third one that I have here is called the Ctenanthe Setosa gresta. So if you see the leaves of this plant, they are a lot more grayer than the green and a little more whitish cream colored that you have with these two plants. Typically, colloquially, you can call all of them prayer plants. You can call all of them Calatheas or Gophersias. Okay. Now, don't mistake this one for a Ctenanthe. They look very similar, right? But this one is actually a proper Calathea. It's called Calathea freddi or Gophersia freddi. But I kept it together with this to show you how similar they are. But this is a completely different genus. This is the Gophersia genus versus this is the Ctenanthe genus. Okay, now in terms of care tips for these, Ctenanthes are a little more hardier than your regular Calatheas. So they of course are herbaceous plants and shade-loving plants, but they are a little more, say, drought tolerant than the Calatheas. While Calatheas really love their humidity, Ctenanthes, you can also grow them like, in a hedge arrangement in the garden, as long as it's in the shade area of your garden. Of course, you cannot grow them in direct sun because their leaves will start yellowing or withering. Okay, another kind of a survival mechanism that most of these plants have is that if they get too much of sun, they'll start curling up. Okay, so you'll find that all their leaves will curl up towards the center, and that's kind of the escape mechanism for them to reduce transpiration from the leaves and to save as much of humidity as possible. So in terms of other care tips, they like to be, as I said, in indirect light. Their soil mix has to be pretty loose as for Calatheas. They do like to be watered, but not soaking wet. Okay, so water them often. You don't let their topsoil especially dry completely. When the topsoil is relatively dry, you can go ahead and water it again. Humidity loving plants, while they are not as humidity loving as other Calatheas, they still love their humidity. And in terms of fertilizing, these are not very fussy with regards to fertilizers. Okay, so maybe once in a while you can use a slow release fertilizer to keep them happy, but otherwise these plants can go a long way just without fertilization, as long as you give them the right water and light requirements. Okay, so those are Ctenanthes for you. So again, see the pattern right from the pattern. So burle-marxii here has this shiny pattern here, versus if you see the Amagris, it's very different. That's why I wanted to do this video with all of them together, because if I would have done it separately for this one and separately for say the gresta, it would have been difficult for you to make out the difference between the leaves, right? So this is how the leaf structure looks in a burle-marxii. This is how it would look in an Amagris. So this is the hybrid of this, a lab grown hybrid, which is a very popular hybrid now. And this is the Setosa. Setosa is by far the tallest of the lot. Burle-marxii is typically the shorter one. And interestingly, the way they propagate as well, they kind of give these side shoots, and that's how they fill up the pot. Okay, and they're very similar with the Amagris as well. Setosa gets very tall and it's like has these center stems just like your mosaica network or some other things. Of course, this is Freddy. This is a very calathea like growth. Take a good look at the Ctenanthes again. And maybe in the next video I'm going to show you a few more calatheas. All right, thank you, bye.